bargain basement time again. And what did I get? All for £1. I limited myself to £1 this time. Had a look in the £4 section, but there wasn't. I think there was one thing I can't remember now what it was, but I thought, no, go to the £1 section, see what we can find. Couldn't find anything to start off with. It wasn't looking good, but then once I found one, I found another one and another one, and didn't do too badly. Bit of a squeeze down there. It was quite busy, surprisingly, early on a Saturday morning. And you kind of have to like this when people go by, because it's a bit of a squeeze. But once I negotiated that, I found this to start off with in the £1 section. Todd Rundgren Initiation. And oh boy, is it an initiation. I'm going to make a separate video about this, because this album is undescribable, but I'm going to try. So yeah, this was quite the experience. The old Bearsville label. Nicely designed label, that, isn't it? But as I say, I'll get around to that in the next video. Right, next one. Grinder Switch. Never heard of them, but I was kind of attractive and interested. Attractive? I'm kind of attracted to this cover. Once you look at the cover, you pretty much know what it's going to sound like, and it sounds exactly like the cover, but not as bad as I thought. It's not a bad record, really. Some good tracks on it. The Capricorn label. This nice inner sleeve, which has seen better days, as you can see. There it is, in all its splendour. It'd be nice if you could actually see the Capricorn itself, or whatever it is. Yeah, something called a Capricorn, I don't know. But anyway, it'd be nice if they did it in like a darker brown or something, but I guess it would get in the way of the type. Anyway, nothing to do with me. Now this is pretty good. I have to say, it's not bad at all. It's got some good tracks on it. There's about 10 tracks on it. 5 or 6 are pretty good. And the last track, amazingly, anybody who's a fan of the John Peel show here in England, John Peel show was on between 10 and midnight, was it? Every weekday evening. And it was the only place where you could hear new music. Back in the late 70s, where you could hear punk and Birthday Party and bands like that. But he would also play Captain Beefheart and all sorts of obscure things you'd never heard before. And the signature tune, when his program started up, it was like a blues thing with a guitar going bang. It's actually the last track on this album, called Picking the Blues, and that's the John Peel soundtrack. When I looked this up, oh, wow, isn't it amazing what you find out? If I see another copy of this, I'll get it, because again, this is really in bad condition. But it was a very pleasant listen. These guys can play, and it's not too cheesy. It's not too southern. You know what I mean? They're like just slightly less polished Doobie Brothers, something like that. The Mills Brothers, I get these mixed up with the Ink Spots, probably because I've got a compilation that was my dad's from years and years ago with the Mills Brothers and the Ink Spots on it, so I kind of put it all together when I used to listen to it when I was about 5 or even earlier. But yeah, the Mills Brothers cover's just pretty bad. This is a reissue of a 1958 album, came out in 1980. In the £1 section, so I thought I'd get it because I've heard Mills Brothers tracks and they're really good. It's a bit of fun. I looked at this and it's in amazing condition. I mean, look at that. You probably can't see it, but it's on the boring old MCA label. You can tell by the runoff how kind of new it looks, and it's totally spotless of surface noise or anything else. It's quite amazing. When I go on Discogs, when you look these things up, I'm always amazed of the older artists, how many records or how many entries they've got on Discogs. And the Mills Brothers have 695. Wow. 695 records. Pressed, made, thereabouts, whereabouts. Amazing, really. Next up, Shirley Bassey. Now, whenever you look in the charity shops or the bargain basements, there's a lot of Shirley Bassey albums. Again, she must have been somebody who made a lot of albums. I've never seen this before, never seen this cover. It's got my attention. Great cover, look at it, it's looking fabulous there. The other thing that got me was engineered by Martin Rushent, who went on to produce The Stranglers and people like that. This is from 1972, I think it was. It's on the 1972. It's on the boring old UA label. Was it 72? Yeah. So about 5 years later, Martin Rushent was producing The Stranglers. Everything he learnt on the Shirley Bassey album, he then used to great effect on the Stranglers album. The only thing about this, it's recorded in what sounds like an aircraft hangar. I mean, it's really, talk about reverb. Wow. The only thing clear is the bass, but the bass player is just way too busy. I don't understand. You can't. Shirley Bassey, don't need all over the place. Bit of a shame that, and it's the loudest thing on the record. Poor Shirley, she's in the next town singing, by the sounds of things. But anyway, nice cover. Next up, Fame and Price, or Price and Fame. They obviously couldn't agree on which way to put it together. Now, would have been nice if the cover had been a bit more deeper colours, but there it is. And there's Alan Price and Georgie Fame looking quite unkempt. Georgie Fame will look quite smart, but they obviously just come out of the pub or wherever. Now, I thought I'd get this. It was £1, why not? But I didn't really realise that I knew one of the songs on here very, very well. Rosetta. Warning, if you listen to the song Rosetta, it'll just stay on your brain for the rest of the week and you'll keep humming it. It's one of those songs. I mean, it was instant hit. And it was. On the original old CBS label, some dipstick stuck a Reckless record on this, Reckless Records sticker, and couldn't get it off, but never mind. Yes, this has got like paint spots on it, sounds terrible, but it was a fun listen. Obviously two very experienced guys here, and there's a little story on the back here on how they just very seemingly easily got together, even though they were individual artists at the time. And they just decided to work together, purely for fun, really, which ended up with the Rosetta single being a huge, huge hit. If you'd said to me, do you know the Fame and Price song Rosetta? I would have said no. But when it starts up, you're like, oh, I remember this. And as I say, you can't get it out of your head the rest of the day. So next up, and this rather obscure thing in the world music part, I thought, yeah, let's get something a little bit orchestral and just a little bit odd. I've no way of knowing what it is. Like the cover, quite avant-garde. It's got a lot of information on the back, in English down one side and Hungarian on the other side. This is from Budapest, recorded at the Matthias Church, Budapest, 1964. And a little plastic cover. I'll show you the label. I like the label. A lovely label that is. A lovely yellow. What's it called? Qualiton. The Qualiton label. Orchestra of the Budapest Philharmonic. Orchestra of the Budapest Philharmonic Society. It starts off, it sounds like sort of creepy film music, side one. Side two gets a little bit middle of the road and what you expected really from this for an orchestra to play. But side one, when it starts out, it's like, ooh, this could be a soundtrack to a horror film or something. Right, next up, Smith and Jones. Mel Smith and Griff Rhys-Jones. Now, you may not know these two guys if you're not British. They're on television, but they used to have this one section in their TV show, where they would face each other, a bit like that here, but really facing each other, looking into each other's eyes. Mel Smith would be the sort of intelligent one and all that gift of the gab, and Griff Rhys-Jones would be the guy who'd would ask awkward questions, difficult questions, and Mel Smith would try and answer him. And this evidently is a whole two sides of that kind of thing, specially recorded. It's amazing they went for a gatefold on this. Must have cost a fortune. It's on the 10 label, if you remember that. There's a few bands on this label for a little while. But what I found out later on was that those comedy sketches where they're face to face with each other, they're actually recorded separately. Even just facing someone like that, you would just giggle, wouldn't you? For someone you know. For someone you didn't know, you'd obviously run. Was that it? No. Now, after I'd finished in the bargain basement, I quickly popped round the corner to the very tiny Oxfam, and reasonably priced. See, you try saying it. Reasonably priced was this. Now I have an original of this from 1977, and I thought, well, I don't really need it. Gatefold. I don't really need it, but I thought, well, I don't know, I'll have a little look. What got me first of all is the inner sleeves are all in very good condition. There's no crumply bits, and also when I had a look at the records themselves, they're in really good condition, And I know my one from yesteryear, it's in really bad condition. I mean, I've played it so many times. And this was just £5. £5 English pounds. So I thought, well, I think I'll go for it, because sometimes you see this album, they're selling it for £10, £15. So £5 was a good buy. I've not played it yet, so maybe it's not in good condition, I don't know. But great cover, all the song titles there. What do you want from life? I was lucky enough to see the Tubes 3 times, because the first time we were booked to go and see him, Fee Waybill twisted his ankle, and all the shows were cancelled. So we went like a year later, I think, to see them again, where they had to clean up their act a little bit, which was a shame. Then I saw them in the late 90s maybe, and there was nobody there. That was a shame. Great big venue, would hold over 1,000 people, but we were able to stand sort of like 3 from the front. Yeah, I was right in front of Roger Steen's amp. I remember the volume, and it's the only time I could have shook hands with Prairie Prince. My God, because Prairie Prince is a drumming hero of mine, and he was handing out his sticks and putting his hand out to shake hands with people, and I just couldn't do it. It's Prairie Prince. I can't touch Prairie Prince. As the Tubes once said, what do you want from life? Stand up and shout. And I saw her standing there. Oh, I was a punk before you were a punk. Oh boy. See you later.